This is a short instructional video for Ivybridge Community College students who've just finished their GCSEs and want to make sure that their chemistry is up to scratch before starting the A-level course in September. I'm going to show you how to use an online program called Bestchoice, which should remind you of some of the things that you're supposed to have picked up from the GCSE course and prepare you for some of the harder concepts at A-level. So the website that we need to go to is www.bestchoice.net.nz, because it's a New Zealand based site. As you see, I've been on it a few times already. You can just Google Bestchoice, and I think it's one of the top hits there, but that's the actual website address. Now we need to set this up quite a particular way to make sure that any questions that you ask that you answer on here we get to see as teachers, because everything that you do on here is recorded, and we can see if you've been on different sections, and it helps to let us know if there's particular topics that you don't understand and what we need to teach better in lessons. Now obviously this is pre-populated here because I've been on this before, but you'll be presented with this screen here, and you'll need to set up an account of your own. So the institution that you need to choose is the UK schools and colleges. And then give yourself a username. This is of your own choice, so I'll have Dr. K GCSE example student. That's very long. Oh, well, okay, we'll stop there, because I've used a few variants up already and I can't exactly remember what I have used. And then click sign up. And in fact, I didn't have entered the username because I'm prompted to enter it again here, but UK schools and colleges, so we'll have Dr. K GCSE example Stu, we'll call me. Institution. Now this doesn't strictly speaking matter, but you did OCR Gateway as a GCSE course, so we'll select that. The exam centre number is 54315, which you should be quite used to from your GCSEs that you've just sat. Enter a password of your choice and confirm that. Now it really isn't very sensitive, the information that's held on here about you, so the password needn't be that complicated, so mine is just the usual as my clue, and enter your email address. So I'll stick mine in. That can be a personal address or your school one, whatever's your preference, and then stick in your name, so Kershaw, followed by John. Please put in your correct name so I know who you are, don't just make something up. Country, United Kingdom, you're obviously a student, so we don't tick that, and I'm going to pretend to be a student here for the purposes of this. Now this is where it's quite important that you get this right. The class ID, so I've set up a class, a bridging class for students who have done GCSE and are going to go on to A-level, and again this is just so we can monitor who's logging on and what topics people are stronger at and what topics people are weaker at, and it really helps us out in terms of what we're going to do in September. The class ID is 7968, and the class password is Ivybridge, and this is case sensitive, so it's all lowercase, IVYBRIDGE, and then sign up. Don't need to remember that. Okay, so what you're presented with, you can change the course here, but it's already set up with the GCSE course. As you can see, there's 1,373 questions that you could possibly answer, not expecting you to answer all of them. And you'll see that you're enrolled in this class here, Bridging GCSE to A-Level 2013. That's now this new student and an example that I set up the other day. Down the left-hand panel here are all the options that it gives you for topics. And we'll just run through those, and I'll tell you which ones are the important ones and which ones not. So I just click on the first topic here, and we can scroll down on the screen here. Takes you through atomic structure, which is obviously something fundamental to all of chemistry, and you'll start off the course in September revisiting atomic structure. Things like chemical language, nomenclature, which just means naming of compounds. These are all things that underpin the whole of chemistry, so you've got to be quite comfortable with all of these concepts. Electron arrangements, because obviously that impinges on reactivity and bonding. Chemical reaction equations, and probably balancing equations, I'd imagine, at some stage. Rates of reaction, acids and bases, these should be familiar topics from GCSE. Reactions using symbols, metals, physical properties, displacement reactions, so a bit of what's that, C4 and C5 coming in there. Carbon compounds, so this is a very important one. You did some organic chemistry, alkanes and alkenes, back in C1, but that will hit you hard in the first term of A-level. We'll revisit all of that, and you could do with having a decent understanding of alkanes and alkenes before you start. Combustion chemistry. Now, solutions. This is lovely to know, and of course this first bit here, solution, solvent, solute, this is stuff you should know at Key Stage 3, but in terms of predicting solubility and solubility curves, that's not even going to come up, solubility curves on your A-level course, so if you're going to leave anything out, the solution stuff is probably the least useful for you. Chemical calculations, so mass and molar mass, very important. Ion analysis as well. This here is lovely to know, and you will cover this at A-level, but is not absolutely fundamental to the course. So ion analysis is probably something else that I would do last, and then a bit on atmosphere, which is just sort of some quite general topics. So what this is, I mean, I've mentioned questions so far. There's information. And then there's questions that build up your knowledge, multiple choice questions. They give you immediate answers. You can have several goes. And it's all designed just to very, very slowly remind you about certain concepts and build up your understanding. So if we just click on this first topic here, this is how most of these are set up. They have what they call a review page here, which is a bit of information about atoms, protons, neutrons, and electrons, for instance. You can print that. So if you select here, print current page, but all you've got to do really is read this page here. You'll notice this activity bar at the top here that shows you how far through this particular activity you've got. So if we click next page, we can either click next page here, or we can drag this bar along the top. So page 2, regions in the atom. So we just read something about the atom. Now we're asked a few questions, can we just piece that together? So this image represents a cross-section through the middle of an atom. Identify the two regions of the atom by dragging the labels to the ends of the lines. So we've obviously got the nucleus in the middle, and then we've got the electron cloud around the outside. Choose from the following list to correctly complete the sentences below. The overall shape of an atom can be approximated by a sphere. The volume occupied by the something is very much smaller than the volume occupied by the something, so the nucleus much smaller than the electron cloud, and then you can mark that and it gives you ticks. It tells you you've got 100% 5 out of 5. It tells you you've got it completed up there in the top right hand corner, and it's then checked this box history. So we've completed this, but let's say we were coming back to this activity and we wanted another go. If we uncheck the history, then we get to have a complete go at it again, so it takes away your correct answers. So if we just move on to the next page, let's say you got an answer wrong. So which subatomic particle has a positive charge? If we were to answer neutron to that, we'd obviously be incorrect. So we go mark the answer. It tells you it's incorrect, and it gives you a little hint. The neutron has no charge. Well, it's still sort of 50-50 if you didn't know, but then if you got it correct and you answered proton and marked the answer, it'll tell you that you got it right. It's got a tick and a cross there because you did previously, or I did rather, answer that incorrectly, and then I've answered the proton right on the second time of asking. And it often gives you a little bit of extra information. Sometimes the questions then open up and it gives you more questions based on what you've just had. It will only save your answers to these questions if you complete all of these and then go on to the next page by either sliding across there or clicking go to next page down here. That will only appear once you have answered all of these. So at the moment, the mark save will have been from page 2, but not from page 3. Let's just have a look. Anything else? So you would click through this. You'd keep on answering questions about charges in the atom, protons and electrons. There's another review page that comes up, so they'll drop in a bit more information, then ask you a few more questions on page 7, and so on and so forth, all the way through until we get to the final page here. And then it tells you, right, so out of a possible 53, you got 6. I mean, we didn't attempt many. If we think the topic was very helpful, you can give feedback to the site, say, yep, that was fantastic, save that survey. But your marks are all saved. And as a teacher, I then get to see these, and as I said, I can see if there are any particular weak areas that we might need to spend a bit more time on in class. That's for that particular topic there, and if we would go on to the next topic, isotopes, then obviously that's completely fresh. Down here, in the bottom left hand corner. This here is, well, would be a pie chart, so the more you answer, the more of that will fill in, and this gives you an overview of everything that you've done. So really what we're asking is by the end of the summer, if you had worked through this, you've really set yourself up well to start off the A-level course, because you've made sure that you know all the fundamental concepts. If you get things wrong, remember you're only really learning properly if you're getting things wrong. It's a question of whether you can go back and then answer that correctly the next time. So use the hints, use the advice that they're giving you to try to get that correct. Other things on the site, really nothing to worry about on this right hand panel here. You've got your profile and settings, so you can change username and your password, things like that. As I said, you can change the course here, but you really just need to exist in this small space here. Other than that, that's pretty much it. So I suppose have fun, and see you in September.